Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. Glad you connected. Um, Now we only have to wait for Dom to join, but yeah. Uh, how excited are you to be recording this with? Oh, that sound. That's him. That's him. I
Oh,
guess.
hello.
Yeah.
That's
There we
something.
go. There we go. Um, I'm able to hear you. I was also able to hear her too. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so Dom, you're able to hear me, right?
I can hear you fine.
Okay. Now how about her, right? Say another thing. Say another thing.
Ah,
You were able to hear that?
yep. Oh, um,
Great. So it sounds like all three of us can hear each other. Okay.
definitely.
That's great. So I was just asking her how you know how excited things are with this, right? So essentially, both of us actually are here now. So, uh, Dom, do you want to actually? No, no. Tell you what. Just so just so we're all clear, both of us like to kind of go back and forth with the guest, right? We like to plan things a little bit of time, a little ahead of time, rather. So I have a few bullet points that we could get through, but I also have like a kind of rough uh, plan for like an introduction sort of thing. I was wondering if you wanted to say your name and who you are for like the introduction stuff, or if you wanted to leave that to me, or so just to kind of catch you up on things that we do. We do things like with every guest that we've had, we always have like a little bit of time to kind of go over how some things work. So I was wondering if you wanted me to maybe introduce you, or did you want to introduce yourself, or heck, maybe let maybe we could let Dom introduce you. Um, yeah, no, I could completely do that. That's totally fine. So I could introduce you. So essentially, give you a rundown. Um, I go, hello everybody, welcome back. Um, I usually don't say the numbers. That's usually something that Dom does. So I never go like, oh, 38. But, wow, 38 though. Um, so I'll usually go, welcome back. I am me. And then Dom will usually go, I am me as well, right? And then I could go something along the lines of,
Yep.
but
Yep.
it
Usually I'll
doesn't
be
stop
like,
there. Today we're also joined by, and then you can announce your name from there, right?
yep. Usually, like he says his name, I say my name, and then the podcast goes from there.
Right. Any questions before we actually really, really get going with this, or you just want to get into it? Yeah, no. About the bullet points, like obviously we could get into them, but we don't have to. It's more or less just like a guideline sort of deal, but it's if anything, it's just for the opportunity where both of us are running low on things to say, so we could just, hey, bullet point three, let's do this one. Obviously, not as stale as that, but um, we get into things relatively smoothly, if that makes sense. Other than that, sounds like sounds like you're raring to go with this. So, um, I guess so. Right. Okay. I guess I'll start at in 5 seconds. Right now. 3, 2. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Dom. I'm gonna take that again. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another.
Having fun?
Not yet, not yet. Really professional with our with the guest, right? No.
Yeah, well, we're already not a great start here.
How about this? All right. Welcome back to another episode of the DomJake podcast. My name's Jake.
And my name is Dominic.
But it doesn't stop there, because today we're also joined by. It's nice having you here. What has it been, like 6 years or something? Yeah. No, I got it. Yeah, no wonder.
Half a decade ago?
Yeah,
That was
shoot.
I would say that's 5 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of rounding up to 6, right? What'd you say is closer, 6 or 5, right?
Yeah, 5 is closer. We want to feel as youthful as we can.
Right. Um,
Well, it's nice to see you again.
yeah, I mean, thinking about it, I really didn't expect anybody to have. Well, okay, I should say I was really surprised to see that you reached out to me to get this done. It wasn't unheard of because, previous guest, Dom, not this one, but the other one. Right? One of our previous guests actually did reach out to me to get this going. So I was kind of surprised that it happened again, but this time with you. Is there a reason why you happened to reach out instead of, like, I don't know, waiting for the one weird day that we reached out to you? Yeah, totally. Okay. Right.
Oh, yeah, we're definitely glad you like listening to our stuff.
Yeah, you might have been the one the one viewer who occasionally pops up in our numbers, right? Yeah. Well,
Maybe, yeah.
hey, you know what? It's one that we're glad. Take two. Well, you know what? It's one that we're glad having, right?
Yeah.
So I'd like to kind of kick this off by having maybe you explain how is it that the two of us know each other?
Yeah. Oh. Oops, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, likewise. Honestly, it really wasn't. I think it's safe to say this, but I don't think you had a greatest first impression um, between the two of us. But yeah, it's something like that. I wouldn't say I wouldn't say the experience was negative per se, but just at the start, you're kind of just like another classmate, right? So it essentially, for me, the first time that I kind of paid really any attention to you was that one time when we were in ninth grade gym class, right? Um, I was with one teacher. We usually don't like saying the real people's names on the show, unless if we have them on the show, right? Um, but I was in one class and you were in the other class, but technically we shared the same gym room, right? It's one of those weird situations where two classes happen in the same room. And you had him for a teacher and I had her, right? Yeah. But that's right. Yeah, that's right. The one moment that stuck out to me was just that one moment where we had a mixed class for a um yeah, badminton, right? Um we had a mixed class for badminton, and essentially wait a minute, do you want to say your side first, or would you like my side? Yeah, no, I sure I could completely go, right? Um so essentially it was like a weird amount of students where every literally every other team was paired up with a 2 versus 2 match, and we were just the outcast or whatever, or we were randomly assigned to be the 1v1. So you can see how kind of awkward that could have been, right? Because already at a disadvantage, basically being 1v1, it's not a 2v2 sort of thing. Um, so we were assigned together with that 1v1 thing. And things were pretty close when it came to score wise. So honestly, like, yeah, great job with that, because with badminton sort of stuff, I would like to toot my own horn. I would like to toot my own horn with that. Um, I used to be able to do some tricky things on the court, which you're definitely familiar with. But um, I think I'm familiar with a tricky thing that you did on the court. I might even still have like a dent in my nose or something. Right?
I can only imagine. Like, I mean, I wasn't there, but like I said, I can only imagine how it felt.
I mean, like, correct me if I'm wrong, Dom, but I mean, we both of us did go against each other, you and me, right? It was Dom VJ, right? Um, we went. You faced me in some badminton matches, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you've also faced her before, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you basically can kind of judge how close our match could have been, her and I, right?
Yeah, I can probably see that.
And just how terrible it ended with a smack to the nose.
Now you look like Ronald McDonald.
It was all red and stuff like that, and it was also kind of like slightly bleeding. I mean, like, I'm not really one for like a bloody nose or whatever, but oh geez, yeah. Um, but no, yeah, you remember how hard you smacked it on my nose? Oh geez, yeah, but you ended up marching me over to the nurse's office because it wasn't really bothering anybody else. Because that's the good thing about like a 1v1, because, well, if one person is down and the other side is fine to bring them to the nurse's office, well, guess what? Doesn't impact the game much. It kind of does impact it whenever it's a 2v2 though, and like, one person, then that's like 3 people or something, right? Yeah, but yeah, no, he ended up bringing me to the nurse's office, which I can appreciate, definitely. But that is, you know what? I'm gonna put a pin in that guy, right? I'm gonna revisit that, and I'm gonna pivot to Dom. How about this? How about this? Instead, Dom, you could tell the listeners where it is you know her from.
I do remember you from, let's see. Oh, yes, photography class. You remember that class? Oh my god. There was some projects, I don't know, some of them they were pretty easy, just taking simple snapshots, but then there was like other projects where we had to, I don't know, we had to do a certain theme. Which I do remember, which was called Still Life. Do you remember that? Oh, I did. Oh, yeah, I forgot that we had to have these pictures hung up for people to see. It was at this local gallery.
Oh yeah, I did that thing too. I did, just not a part of uh, your class, but I definitely did it too.
Hmm, I do remember that. Ah, God.
Funny
I mean,
thing about that though is we were all told to kind of, at least my class was told to submit 3 pictures to the teacher, right? And he would be like, "Oh, this one's not great enough to enter the gallery, right? Oh, but this one is. But we'll take this
hmm.
one, right?" Um, the funny thing is, I ended up just searching through an SD card that was just in the camera, and I printed out that, and that's the only, that's literally the only one that got accepted of mine, and it wasn't even my photo.
Oh, God. Jeez, well, I mean, I don't know. I don't think you had the same teacher as I did. Um,
Probably not.
I mean, this was in the same room that you and I, Jake, had video production class.
Oh, you know what? Okay, yeah, no, I had the room next to it, or whatever, right?
It was like, I think it was like the room next to the, that's like probably the not auto mechanic, not maybe auto mechanic. No, 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 no. There's another one of those rooms on that same floor. But any,
Drafting.
yeah, but we did do a few collaborations together though. Uh, Do you remember that? Yeah, yeah, but I mean, I can't remember every single project, but that there was this like I said, we had to do that project where we then had to get the pictures hung up, and then a lot of votes were there. People really liked mine a lot, even though I was like, just a pair of scissors? Really? People like that? Well, hey, you know what? I
I
guess
mean,
people.
I could think of a few people who like scissors.
But
Okay,
anyway,
no, I'm sorry.
I'm like, really? People just like a picture of scissors? But I guess people like. I guess it was the way the lighting was, and I can see why people liked it. But at the end of the
Honestly,
day,
it could just be because you took it and they know your name or something.
mm, maybe, yeah. But no, but people. There was definitely a lot of votes there, and then I remember after leaving that place, then I think I actually happened to see you at the same pizza place that I went to. Like you were like the table right next to me.
Actually, before going to a pizza place, um, what was your photo theme or whatever photos that you submitted? Yeah, that honestly makes sense. That makes total sense knowing you.
Well, well, it was definitely a fun time. But too bad it was only that first semester. I mean, I think if it was the advanced class, which was probably in the room that Jake was in, we probably would have had it throughout the whole entire school year. But I mean, I still had fun. Um, I had fun using some of the equipment. I mean, I don't have the same brand camera that they use, but it doesn't really matter as long as you get a picture at the end of the day. But and then yes, um, using the Photoshop program was fun. Although I would say years ago, of course I knew how to do it, but let's fast forward to another half a decade. It's like, okay, I don't remember this one thing. I cannot remember how to invert this image.
Oh, you mean like color negatives? Or
Color negatives, well, I mean, with that, that's a whole entire thing. I mean, you can do color negatives. I mean, we're not talking about school. This is just my
yeah,
own personal, this is my own little tangent. But
that's something else that the two of us do a lot. We do go on tangents, and usually we cut them out. But that one was kind of, that was not too far down the track. That was related. But I
well,
guess going back to that pizza place that you were at, um, Dom, you want to continue where I interrupted you at?
the color negative part.
No, the pizza
Oh,
place part.
oh, the pizza place. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. After I went, we like I had my personal pizza, my family had their pizza, but yep, and she had like her pizza, like her family shared that. It was pretty cool. I mean, okay, at the end of the day, it's like I'm just going to the restaurant, but at the same time, it's like it's cool meeting you there. Says I only ever see you in school, right? Yeah, I know.
That's something that not a lot of people see each other like just in public, just out of nowhere, right? I mean, we've already heard the dumb story about seeing a former math teacher at a bar, right?
Oh, yes. He was my favorite teacher. I did.
And I actually ended up checking out the culinary teacher whenever I was a cashier. So, but I didn't recognize her at all.
Hmm.
Like,
Why don't you whip out your yearbooks? Maybe you'll find the face.
no, it's literally she's the one who had to say, "I had you in my class." Then I'm like, "Oh, right, right.
Yeah.
Now I know." But
Um.
to be fair, though, to kind of get a little bit serious, though, she was telling me that went, she had undergone chemotherapy because she developed a cancer. I think she's
Hmm.
cured now, but she did have considerably shorter hair whenever I did check her out. Um, so she was in remission, I believe, during
Hmm.
the time that she checked out. And then I was like, oh, wait a minute. Wait. I started making pizzas because I'm like, right, it's you. Um, I actually still have the stereosis presentation that
Oh God, I
is
remember
god
that.
awful.
That was quite a project.
Oh, that's another tangent and stuff like that.
I
But
do have some things though to ask about your nose situation.
oh yeah, me.
I'm
Um,
so you said there was bleeding, right?
there slightly was a little bit. Um,
Was it a cut or just coming from inside the nose?
it came. It was. I forget the whole medical jargon, but it was essentially something where it just happened on contact. It was hit hard enough. It was coming from inside and out of
I've
out of the nostrils.
I know how
Um,
that would feel.
no thanks to you, right?
Yeah, it's not to me, but
Okay, no, that's fine. I didn't mean it because we could put the bloody nose onto the bridge, right?
yeah, I mean, it wasn't funny then, but looking back, we can all have a good laugh, right?
No, I'm gonna cry forever. No,
Just make sure you're not crying from your nose this time.
yeah. How could I forget? Um, but is there any other memories that you might have about Dom though?
Oh, you're bringing that up.
Sounds like something. Sounds like something good. All right, viewers, listen up, listen up. You're only gonna get this once. All right, go ahead.
Oh.
Dom, how did that make you feel whenever that happened?
I mean, it was embarrassing, but hey, you know what? We can all look back and be like,
Is is it worse than is it worse than our Bean Boozled challenge that we did the other day?
oh god, the beam. Okay, I can't tell what's worse anymore. I mean,
Uh,
mentally, it's okay. On one end, it's mentally this is worse, but physically, the Bean Boozled was worse. I mean,
it's
my body was not impacted, but my brain was just gooping up.
yeah, you flipped a coin almost, and both of them landed on heads.
Hmm.
It upset your head so much, right? Like both of
Mm-hmm.
them.
Mm.
But no, and speaking of school dances, though, the only ones that I actually ended up going to are were all in the middle school age, which I don't know if I'm gonna be honest. I really don't know if you went to the same middle school as the two of us. Um, you did? You were you went to the same middle school as us, and I didn't notice you. Tom, did you know this?
I mean, I don't know. There's too many people, but ah, so you okay? Yep, that's now it makes sense. So you
I'm
were there.
so sorry I forgot you.
So you were only you didn't come in. So that's why you're not in the yearbook, but you were at least moved in to this town in the middle of the school year. That makes sense. I was like, that's why you're not in our yearbook.
Because yeah, we usually had our middle school yearbook photos kind of taken around the a little bit before the winter break sort of
A
stuff.
little bit like I would say like 2 weeks after the school year starts.
Yeah, between like the Halloweenish between the Halloweens and the Christmases. But no, that makes sense if you came like if you came here in January, that definitely makes sense. Well, now I don't feel bad about not remembering that you went to the middle school, but honestly, at that point, it's probably just a matter of you might have been on different teams than both of us. Um,
Yeah. Um. So the dances. I never went to the middle school. Like what I remember, it was like. I mean, let's just say it's on a similar topic as the last episode that was done.
oh,
But I mean, I did go to the homecomings and proms in high school, but I just went by myself. But I did hang out with a few people though.
that's the thing. I didn't do the high school stuff. I did the middle school stuff.
But do you speaking of? I mean, I don't know. Did you ever did you ever go to the proms?
Yeah, no, I didn't think that was your scene anyway. You don't really seem like the prom person. So you know what? Yeah, Dom, you're the loser who went to prom. There we go. Prom Dom, right?
Hey, you know what? Hey, give me something to do on the weekends.
I'm gonna be honest, like it's something I don't know if you feel the same, but I kind of regret like not going to it, especially like hearing, actually seeing, because one of our former guests, Vince, who you may or may not know, um, he did record a little bit of it, and seeing, okay, this next person is not a guest, could be, but is not. So I'm just gonna say a censored name. Um, but I saw getting carried by a lot of people during it.
Yep.
Just for that,
I do remember seeing that.
just for that reason, man, like that would have been great to go to. But
Well, at least you got a video.
I do got a video. I also
Um,
possibly have the opportunity to maybe do a reunion, maybe this year. I don't know.
I
Probably
think
not this year.
it's too soon. It's too soon, but it's really up to the student councils for like the
I
high
think
school
so.
reunions.
Yeah,
So maybe 5 years from now we'll have something because that's actually more time since then.
and that's also like a rounder number. That's 10, right? That's 1-0. That's right. That's big.
Yeah.
Um. So actually, yeah, going back to the nurse's office, right? After my schnoggin was hit, right? Um, we were in the nurse's office. The nurse goes to get some like cotton ball sort of stuff and like some ice packs and whatever. So nurse is gone, right? At this point, it's just the two of us, and let's just say, I ended up kind of feeling a little bit woozy with a little bit of the blood loss. So maybe it's a little bit of that, but I cannot believe I'm saying this, but there was a moment when the light from the window caught you, and I was like, "Holy schmoly, this is a princess right here." Like I was seeing birds freaking flying over my head because of the loss of blood. Plus, I was
Oh,
seeing you in a different light, literally.
like, oh my god! You say you saw birds flying, right? What is this? 100 Acre Woods?
Well, whenever you're like, whenever you get knocked out or something, you just start seeing birds flying over your head in the movies and the shows and whatever.
Yeah.
Right. Um, Obviously, I probably didn't see real birds, right? Well, really weren't any, unless if there was a bird in the rafter or something like that. But
I
it wasn't
mean,
that bird. Um, but no, in all serious, in that nurse's office, I did develop a crush on you. Right? No, no. It's completely fine. It's it's something where it's normal, right? Anybody who's going to like a high school or even a middle school or maybe even elementary for some people, but everybody gets crushes, right? Like Dom, you've had one too, right? Like
I say yes, I have. I have had one before.
it just so happens that one of mine is yeah. Um, it's it's awkward now that like I didn't really act upon it. This was all just like internalized stuff. Eh, internalized stuff. But let's just say I did happen to fall hard. we,
Mm-hmm. Oh boy.
we could just say that. Now that this news was brought to your attention, how do you feel about it?
Looks like this is going to be the one hot topic of 2024. But, but you know what? I'm sure. Yep, like you said, we all have our crushes, like from like like elementary to high school. But I think to me, like from my perspective, it's like it seems like high school is where people like where all the the hormones are going in and people are really like have crushes. And that's when you start seeing high school like boyfriend and girlfriend. But
God, yeah.
I mean, I'm sure maybe even middle school, but really high school was really when you started seeing people like getting into high school relationships, and then you hear the gossips about it.
Well, I mean, like elementary students, though, I did remember seeing. Obviously, I wasn't one of them, but I did see like fellow students, and this was at a point where it's like, really, you don't know what's going on. So the most that you can do is like, oh my god, they held hands for the entirety of recess. Oh my god, that's a big thing.
Yeah. But,
Of course, I mean, it doesn't help that like the parents or the aides are like, oh, look at that. Are you two little boyfriend and girlfriend? Oh no, like that's honestly sickening. You
like,
go up to like you go up to like people who are like 7 years old, and you're like, are you two boyfriend and girlfriend?
yeah, this is our only time to hang out. It's recess. Um, Also, as a change of topic, there is a common little audio glitch that sometimes happens, and in Jake's scenario, he's getting a little bit of a 10 thing happening here.
Uh, it's happening. Well,
But
you
at
know,
least I can hear, at least I can understand him, but this is sometimes what happens.
I mean,
So
at this
forgive
point,
us.
I think both of you can like still understand me, but um, for for you know what, this is probably a blessing in disguise though, since it would kind of allow another bit of you and Dom in talking, right? So yeah,
Uh,
you both can kind of take it away for a little moment if you want.
yeah, oh my god, so now how do you feel that Jake told you, or at least confessed? I mean, I guess for our age, 5 years ago was a long time, but at the same time, it was only 5 years ago. It's not like it was like 35 years ago. Yeah. So it's like, oh yeah, there's definitely, I've seen, I mean, I don't know, there's definitely students that are like either still here in our town or they could be living in an entirely different state. Or unless you're in the military and you're sent out to a different country. But we're so how do you feel about that personally? Yeah, it's like, well, it's like nowadays you're lucky if if you see one person in public that you went to school with.
Right. And luckily, Dom and I do see each other, whether it's physically or digitally in some cases like this, right?
Yeah, yeah. So, but yep, me and Jake here, we usually, I mean, we've been lately seeing each other like in person and on this. Mainly because we do have other projects that we work on. Sometimes we'll either do it in person um or we could do it on like we talk on the cord or Discord, however you want to call it, or in this case, podcast.
Not sponsored. Spotify podcasters, an easy place for you and your friends.
Yeah. Oh, would you look at that? Your audio's back to normal.
Hey, there we go. Now we can pop back in, right?
But yep, so this is a common thing that happens. And also just to give you a little behind the scenes, what used to happen from time to time is the audio would just cut out completely, then we'd have to start a new recording. And that can be painful in terms of like post production.
Well, I mean, sometimes though, it. I mean, since I am the host of this audio recording, um, as long as I'm not the one who's being kicked out, completely fine. Um, the two of you can technically be kicked out, and the recording will still be going because I'm still in the call, right? But um, if I'm gone, it's a forced close,
Yeah.
which hopefully we don't have to do, but we
Luckily,
might.
we haven't had that issue.
Not yet. It's been going for quite a bit of time.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. Well, what have you been doing since high school? Well, I mean, okay. Let me rephrase that. What have you done since we graduated high school? Hmm. New York City, huh? Um, is it? Did you go there because you had to commute for work, or you really wanted to go to New York City for this? Ah, that's pretty cool. I mean, I don't really know much about fashion design as too much, but I mean, hey, you gotta you like you like something, you just gotta work for it.
Oh yeah, actually no, we're not.
Okay.
Right now this is a passion project. We'd like to.
Well, we're still not at that point yet.
Hey, if
Or
Paris Fashion Week wants to sponsor us, we'll do it. Like, right? Like, we already have a connection, right? Mutual.
well, I don't know. I mean, we're probably still gonna have actual jobs before. Oh, we get monetized.
Oh, right. Yeah. Unless if 5,000 other people want to subscribe out of nowhere. No? Yeah?
Okay,
No?
opportunity's gone. Bye. No, but
Uh,
that's a pretty cool thing that you want to do.
but I was actually curious about something else, though. Your special interest when it comes to like hobbies or school activities, maybe. Um, what else are you or were you into? I guess, and does it at all connect to anything that you do with fashion? Oh yeah, that's fascinating. I really didn't think that something like that could. Well, you know what? Everyone's different. Like you know what? Viewers, listeners, if you found your dream, remarkable, incredible. But if you haven't found your dream, then if we're to listen to her, then guess what? Your dream could be just a random thing that you see on your screen in 2 hours, right?
uh, yep, I would say so too.
But no, that's interesting that you had nothing to do with fashion before that aha moment. Um, I would have thought maybe something like, oh, culinary because you get to design plates with different things, right? But no, it's just out of nowhere, I guess, which is okay.
Mm. Um, Another question I have is, where do you see yourself 5 years from now? Well, of course, yes, but I mean, in your life, where do you see yourself? Oh, rent a princess.
Oh yeah,
No.
I've definitely heard of like princess rentals before. If you'd like, I could explain to Dom what that is, or do you think you'll be able to do it? Yeah, no, I completely do that. Essentially, renting a princess is basically as it sounds. You call a number, so you call a company, and have an actress come to like a child's birthday, pretend to be
Oh,
a princess.
that makes more sense.
Yeah, glad you let me explain that, but carry on though. No, yeah, that's definitely admirable. Right? Um, I I know next to nothing about fashion, but um, you might be able to tell that if you remember how Tom and I both dressed in high school. We have not changed much.
Nope, I still wear my same shirts, pants, and shorts. Maybe not
Physically the same ones.
maybe not those exact. I mean, there's still a few that I still have from back then, but I would still get new clothes. But the design wise, I guess we still wear this practically the same type of clothing.
I'm not too far behind from that. I mean, I typically get a little bit more than I would say Dom gets right now. I'm looking at in my closet right now. I think I have 40, maybe 50 shirts that are hanging up, and I see them all. Um, I mean, it's yeah, no, I a few of the shirts are definitely the same as back in the day, but usually I do replace them because let's face it, I am not as small as I once would have been. So sometimes, you outgrow it. And it's like, oh, whoops, I guess I'm big now.
Yep, those shirts like they can now look very tight on you, and now you have to get a bigger shirt.
Well, thing is, Dom, even though you are small to medium, you still need to get a bigger shirt anyway. Like, I'm sorry, lifting your hands above your head and seeing a that's not a great look.
I knew you were gonna
Hey,
bring.
you know what? Let's have a tiebreaker. Let's see what she thinks. That's
I
what
knew you were gonna
happens.
talk about this. Well, yeah. Okay, not every shirt I have does that.
Yeah, that's whenever you put bricks in your pockets and like you attach your shirt to the bricks so then it stays down.
Or you want me to super glue like the shirt to the pants, so that it just doesn't just lift. uh, I said we don't want to repeat the whole Gorilla Glue thing.
Right. Yeah, no, that we would definitely benefit
I
from that.
mean, we definitely want some fashion sense.
Right. Actually, speaking of fashion sense, we're we're probably gonna cut this out. Um, but you know what? I could say it in a way that we don't really have to give away a lot of things.
Like,
Let's
so,
let's just say, would you be down to maybe doing another thing with us?
yeah.
If you possibly can, obviously. All right, yeah, that's cool. That's what I thought. I was just calling you on your bluff, which you didn't bluff if you said yes, so that's cool. Um, so essentially, the reason why I was asking you is yeah, no, it is completely a great thing. It's a daunting task because let's just say there's triple digits of different things that we could possibly end up doing. A lot of different things, but we definitely do appreciate you if you are, free at a future time that you're offering some assistance to us if we do need it. That's great. Um, is there anything, Dom, that you feel like bringing up as like a
like,
last sort of
like,
last sort of statement?
um, let's see. I don't know.
Are you gonna confess your feelings?
No. Well, like
No.
say no. I'm not.
Huh?
I don't know. I don't know her as well as you do, Jake. So,
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
but so I mean, if you're not joining our podcast again before the reunion, would you want to join our podcast again, like maybe after the event happened, if we're still doing this podcast 5 years from now? Is it like the amount of demand for this fashion? There's definitely a lot of that in the industry, and not just necessarily for fashion stuff, but for even a lot of consumer products that are out there, like TVs and I guess just other items. Like
Right. Yeah.
they'll have their prototypes, and then there's their production models, and then there's their final releases.
Well, the only difference, I guess, between that would be movies. Like if we're gonna say movies, right? Movies are something where you could technically take an asset from another movie and just kind of shift it in a different lens. You could do that. That's fine. You could have a space ranger that meets a dinosaur that meets a cowboy. You
Yeah,
can do that. But with fashion, it's I would imagine that it's not that easy. Is it though?
I see. I see. Hmm.
I would imagine that gets kind of tiring. I mean, you did say that you sometimes have foodless nights just because you're in a crunch time. How common is that?
Hmm. All right. So you mean like foodless? Okay, but you still have to eat something, right? I mean, you may not cook maybe at home because you may not have time for that, but do you like maybe like stop at like fast food places just to kind of keep you filled up before your next like shift? Hmm. I
It's
see. Okay.
it's a cutthroat. It's a cutthroat world out there with fashion.
Jeez. God. Hmm. Alright, alright, alright. Well, all
Not
I
the
can say
spiel.
is good luck. Oh yeah, for sure. Um, yeah. I mean, I guess an example would be like, oh, you want to be a plumber, but um, I mean, you probably do have to get trained for it, but you could risk hurting yourself.
Not only that, but like, shoot, like, actually, I should say, not only that, but like, shit, like you're smelling like all these smells, right?
Yeah, that would be
'Cause
a very,
a
very.
lot of time, a lot of time, people call plumbers because their plumbing is clogged. What clogs up plumbing? Usually disgusting stuff.
Sounds like a very shitty predicament. Am I right?
Not too
But
far.
no, but I don't know. It's like that's, but they do make good money, though.
Not saying they don't, um, but is there something that you would possibly like to plug for anybody, or are you just more of the private life? Yeah, you completely do a plug in anything that you want here. All right, go. Oh, geez, that's great. What what's the specialty of that charity, if you don't mind? Oh, geez, yeah, that's yeah, you have to be on board with that. So in the description, maybe in a pinned comment, we will definitely have a link to that charity. Definitely. Um, anything else, or just that one? Okay, yeah, that's fair. Just that one. Um, Dom, is there anything else?
Um, I don't know. It's like, well, not much else other than saying, well, wow, it's great hearing from you after all these years. You know, like I said, it's like I'm lucky if I even see or hear from one person from school. Um, I don't know. It's like, I mean, all I can say is good luck on your ventures. Good luck in Paris, but definitely, they're definitely deserving of breaks too.
Yay, we have more time to work on something.
All right. Um.
No, yes. Hey, sorry. I mean, yes, that was from the past feelings. Honestly, things like that are very hard to just say.
Even
Not
if you don't
anymore.
have, even if you have literally moved on 100%, it's like those eggs have been cracked.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good way to put it. But no, if the two of you are set with everything, then I guess I could take it from this point. Thank you all for listening to another episode of the DomJake podcast. Um, if you are not yet doing so, we would appreciate if you would subscribe, smash that like button, ring that notification bell, and share this with somebody else that you know. I'm proud of us that we were actually able to get 26th subscription, which is definitely over 25, which we could do like a celebration thing for that, but we don't have to do that with this episode. So thank you all for listening and watching. Please take a moment to look at the charity that was mentioned previously, and thank you for listening.
Oh, and also, don't forget to check out our skit that just came out not that long ago.
Right. As of the recording of this, this was one day ago as the recording of this, but from when you're able to hear this, it was a week ago.
And probably, as of this recording, I'm also getting another episode out before this one.
Right, yeah.
But yeah.
Busy week then.
But yes, thank you all though for listening.
Yeah. Yeah. Have a great day, everyone. Peace.